Hello, friends, and welcome to the Optimized Advisor Podcast, where we focus on optimizing the well-being and best practices of insurance and financial professionals today. On this show, our objective is to help you optimize your life, optimize your profession, and learn from other optimized advisors. I'm your host, Scott Heinila. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the annual wine tasting holiday show. Welcome to the show, and welcome everybody. Tish, Paula, Nick, Scott,
Danielle.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. What year is this? How many? 4?
4 or 5, Paula?
So I was going to ask Bart that because I had to do the math myself. This is 5.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll drink to that.
All right.
Cheers to 5
Let's
years.
start there. Here we go.
Cheers, Nick.
And just for the sake of the audience, there are 4 of us here in office: Danielle, Paula, Tish, and myself. And then we have our friends Nick and Scott remotely in Texas. So this is going to be fun. And here's what I can tell you for sure. I cannot guarantee how the show is going to end, but I can guarantee we're going to have some fun.
Yes.
Definitely.
Is compliance going to be okay with guarantee?
Well, I don't know. We're having
see.
We'll ask Emily later.
Yeah. All right. Let us start. The purpose of today's show is not just to have fun, but what we like to do is share our experiences with wine. And we have a couple holidays coming up. We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, and the Christmas-ish holidays that are all celebrated. People have different tastes and different style meals. And so today's show, much different than the previous years where I have used my personal collection. Everyone here on the show has brought their most favorite wine that they have during the holidays. And guess what? Everyone is going to share why they brought their wine, anything they know about their wine, history of their wine, if they know it. And we're going to have some fun. So we have, between the 6 of us, 7 wines.
How does that math work out?
Or your boy Bart brought 2 because I didn't want the white wine to be left out. So I filled a gap. Okay. So we are starting with a, just in high level sense, we are starting with a sparkling wine, which I'll let Tish discuss. We're going to go to a white, and then we're going to progress up through different reds. We'll talk about what it pairs well with, and again, why each of us like what we brought. And with that, Tish, you are first up. What did you bring us?
Nice. Okay. Hopefully everyone has poured themselves a glass. And for the people who are watching, it's a Veuve Rose Champagne from France. And I'm really excited to have this one. I love bubbles. Anyone who knows me, Veuve is my favorite. And I love during the holidays rose because I feel like it's really fun. It's light. It's fresh. It starts off really well. And I feel like it's a good conversation. It goes down really smooth.
Maybe a little too smooth.
Yeah, it goes down really smooth, and I really enjoy it. So I feel like it's not overwhelming. It's not too big of a punch with the wine for me, and it pairs really well with appetizers. And I feel like when I drink, I sometimes need to nibble in the beginning because otherwise, if you guys know me, I can't drink a lot. I can't drink a lot of quantities.
Things don't always end.
So what I drink matters. And so that being said, things that it would be paired really well with, if you were going to start with an appetizer, if you were going to have like red fruits or cold cuts or like a shrimp platter or smoked salmon with some cheeses, I think that would be really well. It brings out the flavor of the champagne. And if you're going to have dinner, some families have duck, and so that would pair as well with the duck
Very nice
combination. Okay, Bart, explain the actual wine quality.
Yeah, that was going to be my was going to be my question. So between regular Veuve and the Rosé Veuve and the pink color, what's causing the pink color? What's the difference here?
Yeah,
sommelier.
So let's break it down.
A Pinot.
You didn't know that, did you?
I did.
Okay.
Because I read it for this podcast.
You prepped yourself. All right. So to answer your question, I will ask you all, and there is a cracker as a prize. What are the grapes in a champagne?
Chardonnay.
Good, Nick.
Yeah.
Scott, I'm counting on you. I believe in you.
You got it, Scott.
The different grapes?
The different grapes of Champagne.
We've covered one. Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Great. Third one is very obscure. It's Pinot, and I have, it's a French word that I have a hard time saying. Manure.
Good, because I would have said that wrong.
Anyway, so to answer your questions, some champagnes are, if it says Blanc de Blanc, that means it's just Chardonnay. But a traditional champagne made in traditional champagne style in the region of Champagne has typically 50% Chardonnay, 50% Pinot Noir. In the case of Tish's fine wine, it has that looks like 13% of the, I don't want to say it again because it sounds terrible, manure.
But it's the comment. So what I love about it, it's the combination of the two wines I love the most. I love Chardonnay if I'm going to go white, and I love Pinot if I'm going to go red. So
it's a perfect
combo
match
for me.
And so, Nick, to answer your question, it's more skin of the Pinot Noir that will cause the rosé color. And then the flavor, obviously, the flavor is different than a Brut. That would be the traditional when it's more 50. Yeah.
Got it.
And
it's fantastic.
It is it's wonderful. It's very smooth. And like Bart says, you can drink champagne with anything.
Yeah.
Rosé all day, every day.
Rosé
all day.
Right.
Day or night, hot or cold, happy or sad.
It's always there for you.
And interesting about the Veuve house, it first came about in the mid 1700s, and then in the early 1800s, the first champagne was actually made. And I think late 1850, 1875 was the first rosé champagne.
Awesome.
So Melissa and I have actually been there. We've been to Reims. We took the bullet train from Paris down to Reims and toured Veuve as well as a few others. And it's an incredible experience. It's now a very industrial area, but you go down into the caves of very, very clay-like soil. That's a chalky soil to where it's almost, when you scratch the walls in the caves, it is very much like just a kind of a cool, wet piece of chalk, if you will. And that's what really gives its quality and stores at the proper temperature. I found that to be very, very interesting. But it's also a monk. Those used to be monasteries, basically, and that's the origination of those caves and taverns that the wine is still made in.
Yeah, so I was going to add to that because Tina and I have been there as well. And while there are some industrial areas, there's still a lot of churches that are just, regardless of whatever affiliation you have, the churches are just beautiful architecture, and it's a cool, beautiful little town.
I bet.
Yeah, and not far from Paris. It's definitely a day trip from Paris.
Huh.
Yep.
Now, on champagnes, can you rest them like you do big, bold cabs that need to lay down and rest? Does the same hold true for champagnes?
So I'm going to say yes on true champagne and champagne method. Matter of fact, it's custom, and I haven't done it for Tehani yet, but to buy a bottle of the year of your child and then 18, 20 years later pop it, and they're still great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
make that happen for the kids.
All right. So is there any champagne in California?
No.
You guys aren't falling for my trick question.
It is podcast number 5.
I'm glad you're finally catching on. You all.
We've learned at least one thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So what this cast of characters has all learned is that only be produced in the region of Champagne.
Cast of characters. I don't know if the publicist likes that phrase, but I'm gonna write that down.
We're only one glass in, right? Just as a side note, while guess there's some video. You can see glasses. We here in California are drinking our champagne out of a Chardonnay glass. The new movement in champagne is to drink out of a slightly smaller, not a flute anymore, but to get the full balance of the smell along with the taste, more of a, so that would be more flute-esque, Nick, more of a, like a Sauv Blanc glass. So like a typical white wine glass of a non-Chardonnay. So our big wide is a Riedel manufactured varietally specific Chardonnay glass right here.
Wow.
I've seen a few restaurants between Los Angeles and San Diego now serving a lot of champagnes, whether it's rosé or regular champagne, in the like 1920s old-fashioned champagne goblets.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, or they're kind of transitioning to that. It's interesting to see.
I have seen that too, and I have not embraced that glass as of yet.
I have embraced them and I have purchased them.
And let me just say, I think primarily for me is that I am a bit on the clumsy side, and it doesn't take much to have spill a glass all over yourself in those glasses.
Okay, noted.
So if you invite me into your home, please give me a traditional glass because your floor would be very wet.
Will do. No problem.
All right. Are we moving from champagne?
We are moving
Okay.
from champagne. Numero dos.
All right. So who in this room?
So in fairness, begrudgingly, because Tish, wonderful selection. Although I will say bite inflation is very real with the price of this bottle of champagne. It has gone up in price considerably.
It's about doubled from where I would typically expect a Veuve champagne.
What?
Did you say double, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
maybe it's Texas.
All joking aside, yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe that's true, but I doubt it. The pricing of wine and price points and all of that, if you have any input there, Bart, it's certainly a nice additive of.
Well, like anything else, it's supply and demand. There's been the transportation there's fuel costs. So that has certainly affected. I don't know, maybe you all in Texas pay more for wine than we do here. I've seen Veuve not double. I've seen it maybe 10% higher. You just was it your normal price?
I would say I've seen it across the board depending on where I go. But the best deal I found was actually no plugs intended was at Costco.
Right.
I love it when they have, and they often have it, and the rosé they have.
Yeah. It was substantially more at the traditional grocery store compared to.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Where you obtain wine is the price varies dramatically, and even from some restaurants are very fair in their pricing. Some restaurants are not. I think it's important for consumers to have some awareness of shopping, even on the restaurant list for deals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So in my selection for a white wine, which would be the progression through a holiday meal, I have chosen a Chenin Blanc. And most of you are looking at me like, you love Chardonnay. Why do you have a Chenin Blanc? So here's my little story. So, and I'm going to ask anyone who listens to the show that knows my wife, please do not repeat any of this because there's some parts that should not be exposed to.
I'm going to remind you this is recorded.
That I have an offsite wine cellar, and I normally keep good track of what I have in there. And sometimes you get busy and you throw things in and you kind of forget. And so in my process of getting reacquainted with what I have in my cellar and reorganizing and labeling it, so you'd be very happy if every single bottle is
labeled.
Like this one is barcoded. It
tells me that makes me so happy.
Exactly the location. And whatever cellar that I have 3, exactly the location and where it is.
The type 3 people appreciate that.
Anyway, so my point to that whole story, and the reason that my wife should not know, is that I have wine in there that I didn't realize I had, and it's really accumulating. And as I was going through, I saw this case, and it was 2011 Chenin Blanc Mulderbosch. Like, there's no way in 2022 a 2011, basically a light wine is going to be any good. I I got it here. Let me just, I'll take it home and try it out. And I open it, and it's a screw cap. Okay. Open it up and tried it, and it was fantastic. Fantastic.
Really?
And most of you know too that I've gone in my Chardonnay, I've gone more towards a Chablis style, like so less oak or no oak. So I am looking for more crisp, lower oak or neutral oak. And I've been addicted to it pretty much ever since. So I blew through that case relatively quickly and have since bought another. And I thought, this is great. And I think it's a great substitute for Chardonnay. It is its own grape. This one, by the way, I didn't mention Mulderbosch, is from South Africa. And I am also trying to expand my exposure to wines from different regions of the world. And I know you're not a white wine drinker. Are you?
I'm not.
Can you tolerate it?
I can tolerate it. Yes.
Okay.
This is my first South African wine of any kind.
Wow. So you've not even had a Pinotage before?
Never even heard of that.
This is the first.
A variety of Pinot Noir. Tish, what do you think? You're my Chardonnay partner. What do you think?
I like it. It's really smooth. And
I didn't hear enthusiasm there. Did you really like it?
Yeah.
I feel like this with my new risotto recipe would be delicious.
This is what I wish.
Yeah.
One of the
This would go with risotto.
I feel like this might work actually. Thank
So
you. Appreciate
You could bring
that.
it as you bring your red as your, like, this is my go-to, but for your guests, like, this is what really goes with my risotto.
Okay. I like this. This is a good game plan.
Yeah.
And I have a new
So
case.
Bart, what are you getting? Are you getting lime and pear?
Pear is great. Pear, ripe apricots, really subtle oak.
It's very nice. It's very smooth.
And
So you would pair this with definitely shellfish, seafood,
100%
maybe some grilled tuna.
correct. Or in the kind of the holiday scheme, maybe with the salad or even the cheese plate. If you have, depending on how you progress in your holiday meals. And you want to hear
Something with some citrus.
that would be great. Yeah, maybe even some dried fruit, cheese. When I went to buy the next case, I'm like, this. I had anticipated it to be like very expensive. Like, I really like this. Whatever it is, $12 a bottle.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It has to be because it's South African, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
that's the thing about buying wine, and it's knowing certain regions in the world that are wonderful wines, but at a pretty substantial discount.
Right.
So my question is, when this case comes, is this going to be a case that sits for 10 years, or are you going to drink it sooner?
It's half gone. Half's in the office, and
Got it.
with my crew.
Just
That's
checking.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you guys think on your side? I know that, Nick, you're not a big white wine drinker, but okay.
Yeah, I am a white wine drinker for the right white.
Do not lie.
No, white wine.
You are a liar.
It's got to be the right one. That's the key. I like bone dry white wines. I don't like residual sweetness of any kind on my whites. I'm not a huge oaky guy, but this wine is fantastic. Like how we've said we would pair it with a salad or a starting cheese course. I could totally see this within that. I think it's really good because it is dry. There's not a lot of sweetness to it at all.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And for $12 all day long, no problem.
Right.
What's interesting about this, Bart, and then I guess we can move on, is though I find, so you particularly enjoy this. However, your palate is not akin to Sauv Blanc, but there's fruit and citrus and pear in this, which in many cases is that similar to a Sauvignon Blanc.
That's an excellent point, and I will checkmate you there. So what is the missing component on this wine from a Sauv Blanc?
Berries.
I do not know.
Bell pepper and green grass, which I do not like, especially in your Kiwi land. It's California and New Zealand. Their Sauv Blancs are so so much sun that it gets so ripe, and then the grass and the bell pepper, that's my turnoff. Now, a Sauv Blanc from France, I could do, and I actually I enjoy.
Got it. Okay, good to know.
Okay, we are moving on. Guess whose turn it is? Heinila.
Pinot Noir.
Ooh, we got to pour
Okay,
it.
so yeah, you pour.
Yep. That is
I mean, I begrudgingly pour out what little bit left that we have.
Here we go. This is Scott Heinila's wine.
So Melissa and I, my wife Melissa and I, our journey for wine and the love of wine has certainly been a social thing for us, and something that our love and interest in wine has grown together over the years. On our 10th wedding anniversary, we took our really one and only trip to Napa as well as the Sonoma coast, and we came across this winery called Papietro Perry, and it was a Pinot Noir winemaker, family owned, family run, a beautiful winery. Nothing overly commercial, but just a very intimate setting, and we fell in love with their wines. And that is not the wine we are tasting.
I was like waiting for the.
Is he making a mistake here? I am not. That was intentional. I did find, I wouldn't say a better wine, but certainly more of a well-known, established wine in the same varietal, which is a Pinot Noir. Definitely our love and interest in Pinot Noir has developed over the years, very much so. So what wine did we choose? We chose William Sellium. So a little bit about William Sellium, founded in an incredible year, the year that Scott Heinila was born in 1979. Good things happened in that year. That's the year I was born and adopted, if you will. Anyways, what's interesting about William Sellium is it was born as a hobby between two gentlemen, Bert Williams and Ed Sellium. And their first grape or wine was a Zinfandel, which they still make today. They make one vintage a year of their Zinfandel, and that was produced or purchased from grapes by the Martinelli family.
Interesting.
Go ahead. Their first label was the Hacienda del Rio. That was the label. The William Sellium label actually was not born until 1983 or 4, I believe. Today they have about 22 different vineyards, which is a very interesting thing. And I think I would hope, Bart, maybe you can expand on that a little bit. And I find that, with Cab and some of these big, bold wines, there aren't that many. The winemakers have a vineyard, if you will. Whereas with Pinot, Papietro Perry, they probably have 15 or 16 different vineyards. William Sellium has, like I said, around 22 vineyards. So you get these kind of very intimate and low production vintages, if you will, with a very, very wide range in flavors and the palettes and all of this stuff. So let's talk a little bit about that, but a couple other known kind of winning points, if you will, with William Sellium is in 2007, Wine Enthusiasts gave William Sellium a 100-point score.
Awesome.
Nice.
Wow.
Which was the first time that a major wine of California Pinot Noir received a perfect score. So a pretty prestigious winery, for sure. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoy this wine.
It's delicious. Pinot and Red Zinfandel are always my go-tos, and that is heavenly. So thank you for introducing me to that.
I have always loved this.
Not Pinot.
I have always loved this winery. And
Hey, Nick,
Pinots
I'm going to interrupt you. I can't hear you. Can you lean closer to the mic?
Yeah, well, we can do that. Yeah, the wines from this winery are fantastic. They're all of them. And Scott introduced me to them. And as we know, if you listen back to last year's episode, I'm getting into Pinots thanks to Bart. It's converting.
Well, what we are drinking is the 2017 vintage of the William Sellium Estate Vineyard, which is a Russian River Valley wine. So what you'll get, I think, is some dark cherry and some raspberry, but being at 2017, very smooth. We are currently in the window for drinking this wine, and it's wonderful.
For those listeners that have not been to Russian River or that part of the Napa Valley or Sonoma within that valley, it is fantastic. For me and my wife, we have been venturing further and further up in that area because it's not as saturated. You find some of these hidden gems, and you can find some really, really good wines up there. And this is a perfect representation of that area.
Yeah, I have to agree. The Pinot Noirs that come out of that region are amazing. I think the terroir is perfect for it. The temperature from the ocean, the fog that comes in at night. Scott, I'll add on to your characteristics. I think there's some strawberry, some cranberry, maybe a little cinnamon. And to your point as well, Pinot Noir has a vast spectrum, I think, from very light to very full-bodied. And so if someone says they like Pinot Noir, you really have to kind of drill down. Well, do you like the more full-bodied? Do you like the light? Myself, I am on the more full-bodied, about as full as you can get before it becomes like that Blanc or something along those lines. But that's my.
So some examples of your preferred full-bodied Pinot would include.
So this for sure, Costa Brown, Sea Smoke. In this San Ynez region, Fess Parker, Babcock. There's some great full bodies coming from New Zealand, and the wineries I don't have off the top of my head, but you actually turned me on, Scott, to a few. So if they're available, I always go to New Zealand. Antica Terra in Willamette Valley. So I like some of the wines that are coming from that region.
Me too, very much so. Yeah, this is a damn good wine. I mean, I don't know if that's because it's the third wine we're tasting, but it's very good.
But it's definitely a full-bodied Pinot. Yeah. This is way more my speed. If you're looking for a Pinot that's got some oomph behind it,
yeah,
this would be perfect for your holiday festivities.
And then Scott, Nick, what would you pair a Pinot Noir with during the holidays?
Oh man, this one could almost go with the full meal. Like you could do this with the turkey. You can do this with the turkey and gravy.
The main dish.
If the turkey had cranberry, that's kind of the kind of the distinguisher. And I know because that was where I got kind of hit on my sommelier test, because I chose a buttery Chardonnay for a buttery turkey, and I got slapped that because of the cranberry I should take Pinot Noir.
That's part of the reason why I chose this, was because I think this is your quintessential pairing for a Thanksgiving dinner with your turkey or your honey baked ham, and I just think this wine pairs so nicely with that meal.
And in general too, I mean, beyond the holidays, it's beyond champagne, I think it's one of the most versatile. Salmon goes great with, so there's your fish. Chicken it goes great with, and a lighter red meat.
I was just going to pipe in. So I have not had meat of any kind in over 20 years. So I'm a seafood only girl or vegetarian. So would you put this with risotto? Would you put this with fish?
Oh yeah. Fish. Risotto for sure.
Okay.
So especially if the risotto, let's say,
salmon
had like it was mixed with cranberry, something like that, I think it would be the perfect match.
Okay.
Or let's say like a swordfish with a
heavier
tomato with a tomato vodka cream sauce would
That's
be
making me hungry.
Perfect.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Great idea.
Good one, Scott.
Good choice, Scott.
My job is done.
What do you think, Danielle?
Yeah, it's really good. Doesn't have any kind of bittery aftertaste,
Like the tannin,
but not too sweet.
Like
either.
the Nick tannins that are bound to hit us here pretty soon. We're working our way up.
No, I stepped outside the comfort zone with mine. We're throwing you a curveball.
Soften. Okay. All right. I like that. Curveballs. I like that.
Coming from the baseball guy, I gotta get in some curveballs in there.
All right. So how are we feeling? Moving on?
Yeah.
Really good.
Okay. Ladies?
Yeah.
All right.
We're ready.
Guess you might have.
Do we have
we're
to
gonna
use
go.
the same
No,
glass?
we're going to the next glass.
I'm already starting to
So
fall behind, guys.
I don't know about you all in Texas, but here in California, we do have our varietal specific glasses. How about you all?
So it's y'all and
Right.
I've actually gotten a few emails recently where Bart has said y'all, and I went, hey, no. He's picking it up. Okay.
He's hanging out with us too much.
he's hanging out with someone. He'll speak to you about this offline, but he'll talk to you about Moxie's.
Oh, listen, I was in Moxie's before y'all were at Moxie's, so.
Oh, touche. An Eagle Scout is always prepared, so we have our proper wine glasses. Thank you.
Nice.
Oh, I do see that. There's,
very
I like
nice.
it.
Look at that monster.
Good job.
Yeah.
Touche.
We are ready. Next
Okay.
varietal
Next
up
is-
on deck.
I'm trying to decide what glass. I think for us here, let's use our Pinot Noir glass for this next pour, and then we'll save the Cab Sauv glass for the final two. Fair? That means chug-a-lug.
So what that means is keep the glass.
All right.
The Cab Franc goes in the Pinot.
Yeah.
So in
Understand.
Here we go.
so everyone knows what I am pouring is a Cab Franc.
From Brave and Maiden.
Raven Mary, Maiden in the Asante Inez. I'm sorry, Tish. That was a bad, messy pour.
Twice now.
Bad psalm. Very bad psalm.
There is much conversation to be had, I think, about a Cab Franc.
Yeah, and Scott, you and I have spent some time over a Cab Franc, and really am starting to appreciate it. So in the I think we all change over life, right? Our tastes change, and
I would hope so. Evolution is a real thing.
And while Pinot is still my go-to, I do find myself at times looking for something like the Pinot just didn't quite do it for me. And if I'm having a bigger meal, or if I just feel like I need something bigger and bolder. And fast forward a little bit over the last year or two, I've done some tastings. And matter of fact, I was happily exposed at Brave and Maiden at the winery in San Ynez Valley. And part of the tasting was a Cab Franc. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to like this, but I'm doing a tasting. So of course I'm going to,
Try it.
I'll go along and try it. And I was floored. I really, really loved it. If you look at the color of this compared, I know our Pinot Noirs are now empty, right? Dish deeper, darker.
Right.
If you take a smell.
Like
What vintage are we drinking?
That's a great question.
2018.
18.
Yes.
Correct. Good one, Paula. So, I mean, this probably could lay down for a few more years, but it's the oldest one I had that I had 2 bottles of to
Perfect.
But anyway, to me, it adds a little bit more texture, a little bit more fullness. There's a little more earthiness, a little cigar, blackberry. So we're going from a Pinot Noir that's more cranberry, strawberry, cherry to more blackberry, cigar box, a little bit hint of oak, and a little more tannin.
I think quite a bit more tannin. Going from that Pinot to this.
Okay.
I would agree.
Bart, this is way outside your comfort zone.
So I too am going out of my comfort zone for you.
Yeah. Nick. Yeah. This is.
So let's take a try and then we'll have a little more discussion.
It's a very interesting winemaker because they make quite a wide range of varietals, and it seems as though they don't have any per se true consistency to the varietal that they may release from year to year. Have you noticed that?
I'm relatively new to their offering, but at the same time, they're a relatively new winery. I think he's Chinese, somewhere from Asian descent, business owner, decided I want to open a winery, and came and found the vineyards in Santa Ynez, built a gorgeous winery and tasting room, and they are actually credited in the Santa Ynez Valley for a different style of wine tasting. So old school traditional is you belly up to, I'm not saying this is bad, this is just what they do. You belly up to the bar, they throw 4 glasses in front of you, and you pour and taste. This is a sit down experience with a one-on-one, and they have little, not pods, but little places where you can sit in a beautiful area, and it's a one-on-one experience, and it's quite nice. And so they're the first in the valley to do that. And so, yes, they do have others. They have a blend, Cab Sauv, but I can't tell you more about their traditional offerings.
So I've always been under the impression that the Cab Franc is the grandfather grape of the Cab Sauv. So it is along the same lineage, but slightly different. Is that correct?
I will take that, young man, and help define that.
Help me.
In the region of Bordeaux, there is a right bank and a left bank. So the more popular is the left bank, and that would be your basic, primarily Cabernet, maybe with a little bit of Cab Franc or Merlot, but it's definitely left bank Cabernet Sauvignon based. The right bank is, if I'm going to drink a Bordeaux, because as we all have learned here, I'm a Burgundy fan of because that's where Chardonnay and Pinot come from originally. But on the right bank, it's Merlot and Cab Franc. Those are the primary varietals there. So I can't tell you for sure if it's the uncle, the father, or grandfather of Cab Sauvignon, but it is in the same region. It just makes a different wine. And typically it is a blend grape. So at that particular tasting, which was maybe a year and a half ago, when they were pouring a Cab Franc, I'm like, I know that's a blending grape. So I wasn't expecting much. And then since then, we were at an event recently, and what was the primary grape on that? Cab Franc.
It's true. Yeah, I remember.
So we went to they're a relatively new winery. Cab Franc was, so it's making a name for itself.
Right. Very true.
And for a lot of people, I think they would much enjoy a Cab Franc, and they can probably save a lot of money than buying a Napa Cab Sauvignon, where because of the name, because of the region, they can get a Cab Franc from the same region, same winemaker, and probably save a lot of money and have a similar experience with their tasting. Now, Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, slightly different, but it's going to be in the general vicinity of flavor-wise.
So I do agree with you. I think flavor-wise, but again, I'm not a big tannin, like slap in the face kind of guy, and I think these tannins are very, very silky, smooth, and I just think it's much softer than a Cab Sauv, but with the same flavor characteristics.
Absolutely correct. There's a winery in the same region as this wine we're drinking, Firestone, and great winery, great wine club, because you're in this family of multiple wineries, but they have a Cab Franc, and theirs is similar in flavor but big in tannin, and I much prefer this one. And I'm a tannin guy, but I like this subdued, more smooth. Like this is great. It's a great wine. It really is.
It's a perfect example of, you think about, my mind goes a lot of times to the dollars, the cent, the financial side of things.
That is our business.
It is. And so like immediately when I go to a menu, just giving some insight to the audience and listeners, if you can find a Merlot or a Cab Franc that you do enjoy, you're usually going to find those at a reduced price as compared to that of a Cab, less markup. Find those opportunities on the menu that might be 1.5 times retail or 2 times retail. And those are your bargain buys. And so in many cases, you get an extremely wonderful wine. And Bart, you could talk to the Merlot in a minute, but find a Merlot, find a Cab Franc that you enjoy. And if you see that on the menu, in most cases, it's going to be at a very, very fair price.
Yeah, totally agree. And I almost brought a Merlot, and it was a coin toss between a Merlot and a Cab Franc, but everybody knows Merlot, and not as many people know Cab Franc, so I was trying to be unique.
Absolutely, and we've talked plenty of times. And if anyone wants intel on Merlots, go to the previous 4 episodes of this.
Valid point. That's true. We spent a lot of time talking about that.
Yes.
So
great selection. Beautiful wine. Absolutely love this. I don't know if knowing you and being a friend and a kinship with you, a roommate, is an asset or a detriment. And that I already signed up for their wine club as we were talking here. So shame on you.
Classic multitasker. But Scott, I do think I kind of feel like we're pulling Nick over to our side. I mean,
100%.
Oh gosh. Well, I told you the other day he almost fell out of his chair. It was a Sunday afternoon. We're watching football. I'm actually grilling a steak, believe it or not, which does not pair directly with the Pinot Noir. And I said, Nick, what wine would you like me to open? Let's open something very nice and enjoyable for both of us. And what were the words that came out of your mouth?
I don't remember.
A Pinot Noir.
It was a good time.
No,
he wanted me to open a Pinot Noir.
I did want a Pinot.
I said, do you want a Merlot or a Cab? And he said, no, open a Pinot Noir. Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get Bart right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That is amazing.
Guys,
you guys have converted the unconvertible.
So for the non-meat eater, the nice thing also as well as to know about a Cab Franc is that you really aren't limited to pairing it with just meat and rich protein. It really, really also pairs well with your risottos, your vegetable flavors. A vegetarian chili would be wonderful with this.
I like it. This is good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So there you go.
There we go. Speaking of vegetarian, you're up, Paula.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, great. I thought I was last.
So it was a coin toss, but he kind of set you up. So Nick will be last.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. We're going to go into our big glass.
Big glass. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give some recognition to the grocery store, which is going to sound a little silly, but my go-tos, being somebody who does not drink white wine traditionally, I typically go to a Pinot or a Red Zinfandel, which is not something you would normally put with seafood or a vegetarian dish, but I like what I like. So long story short, I wanted to do something unique and different for this tasting. Belgloss and River Rain are things that I typically would go towards, but the story goes, I was in Pavilions in Newport Coast.
Pavilions is a great wine store.
Particularly the one in Newport Coast because it is huge and the wine selection is amazing. So, of course, I was in there and I said to their wine manager, I said, I'm looking for something unique and different. This is what I normally drink. And he said, well, let me give you a recommendation. So this wine we're about to taste is not something I've ever had.
What? It's supposed to be your favorite.
No. This is my
favorite wine.
I want to serve this at Thanksgiving. So you see that? Thank you for volunteering.
But I do like your.
right?
I do like how you work.
I am smart. So he said to me, he said, list your favorites. So my favorites traditionally are Rombauer Zinfandel. Red Zinfandel is delicious. Bell Gloss, Clark and Telephone, Pinot Noir is one of my favorites. And he said, if you've never had J. Dusi's Red Zinfandel, do yourself a favor and try this. So I am trusting him. But the good news is I sent this to Bart before the show and I said, hey, this is my wine selection. And his response was, great choice. It's a wonderful winery. So I felt better about bringing it to the show.
Check one.
Thank God. But of
Scott,
course,
Nick.
I did some research, right? Being a publicist, I always like a good story. So I do like the story behind J. Dusi. So this wine we're about to have. So a couple fun facts. Zinfandel grapes were actually the first varietal that have been planted in the region, being in Paso Robles. So that's a fun fact.
That's true.
And J. Dusi actually has the largest crop of Zinfandel grapes in all of California. They have for many, many years. So this wine, J. Dusi stands for Janelle Dusi, and she is a 4th generation farmer of Zinfandel grapes. The wine is not Italian, but their family is Italian. So to me, that's a nice nod to my heritage. Red Zinfandel does sort of get a bad rap. People associate that with being a cheap wine or something that's not well made. And she's made it her mission to prove the opposite, which I also love. And to quote her, she says, I hope that they see Zin as a serious wine and that in Paso Robles, we're really passionate about it. It's something that grows well here. And so there are those of us that are extremely devoted to it and we're excited to be working with it. So I have no idea how it tastes. It was just poured into my glass. I hope you like it.
You're killing me, but I do appreciate you have a great team here.
I have a great team, and good news, if you don't like it, it's not going to be served in 2 weeks from now. So let's see what everybody thinks.
All right.
Okay, first thoughts is Zandbergen, go.
I feel a little more. So, Nick, I think the progression was right. I feel more tannins here than I do at Franck.
I agree.
I think it needs a little more swirling.
Okay, Heinila, you're up. What are your thoughts?
First of all, I would say, if nothing else, I appreciate your honesty.
That's an opener.
First and foremost, I am always honest.
So usually,
You and me both.
Right? Usually a Zinfandel, big pepper, tobacco box.
Yep.
Like it's
Really?
Oh yeah. Most Zins are all pepper.
Anise, tar,
What's anise? What's that?
black licorice.
Oh, okay. There we go. No. Yeah. Normally that's what you're going to get out of the Zinfandel. And this has that pepper. It has
Definitely pepper.
It has that pepper.
Definitely some
White
black licorice. Definitely black licorice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's balanced with like some
very
red
good.
cherry. So I feel the dark.
I think that's
fruit,
very good.
The tar and the tobacco, and then the red cherry.
Wow.
Tish, what do you think?
I didn't pick up tar, tobacco.
This is 4 glasses in. She's just drinking right now.
That's okay. Everybody's opinion matters.
100%.
She's going.
I'm like, this tastes good. I like it.
This is going to be on Ghost Protocol right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like it. It's good. I don't taste any of the tar and tobacco.
Does it taste like the previous wine?
No. It's much
For
lighter.
people
than
that
the
know that
last
her
wine.
and my banter.
No, lighter.
Anybody else wants to chime in? Danielle, what are your thoughts?
It is definitely not lighter than the last wine.
Not a fan.
No,
So
I
it's
taste a lot of black licorice, but I don't like that.
And that's
My
you
first
have
sip, I was like, "Oh, this
great
tastes kind
opinion.
of funky."
So
I don't know if
that's
it's
great.
my glass.
I get like a bitter chocolate flavor to that a little bit.
Like 90% dark.
Which is you either have to like that or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. I love Rombauer's Red Zinfandel, which if you've had that, it almost tastes like candy to me. It is just sweet and delicious and light. This tastes almost the opposite of that. It's a little bit bitter. It tastes very peppery to me. It's a bit strong. I'm not going to say that I don't like it, but it's not what I'm used to, which I love what I'm used to. So I may just stick with what I'm used to, but I am glad to have ventured out and tried this.
Well, I have a bottle of Mulderbosch for your Mulderbosch for your.
Lighten it up.
So I get like you know how cocoa has that bitterness to it, you know?
Yes.
Cacao. I mean, so I get that. I definitely get an earthiness, which I don't typically get with this Zinfandel, and I for sure get a little bit of spiciness to this.
I get a lot of spice to this.
Yes.
And here's the whole
it's
irony.
A different Zin
There's
than
no spice.
Huh?
No, the irony is Paula as the pescatarian. Can I say that? Or you want to say vegetarian?
We'll go pescatarian.
Pescatarian. None of the wines she ever chooses matches your food palette.
Never. No. Ever.
Yeah.
I have not had anything other than seafood or veggies. And I mean, it's over 22. It's like 22 years or something like that.
And every time we've been together, like, hey, can I give you this wine? No, I am not drinking wine.
Not a wine fan.
So to all of our pescatarian listeners, I would not suggest drinking this with fish.
I think Scott is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Please listen to him. But I will tell you, it's not here today. We've had it before. Rombauer Red Zinfandel is heavenly. If you have not had it, it's always in my house. I don't care what time of year it is. And it pairs, in my opinion, very well with lots and lots of fish options. Or everything.
I would like this. I mean, this wine is a fantastic wine that would pair well with a ribeye, with a ribeye steak, prime rib for the holidays. It would do really well for that.
Yeah.
And Nick, wouldn't you agree that Zinfandel, the kind of like a Pinot Noir, that you have very mild and you have very bold, right? So, and then Paula's Rombauer is going to be like the fruit, and I say this not with judgment, but like a fruit bomb, more fruit forward.
Fruit bomb.
It is.
That's a word.
No, but it is.
That's a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this
which is most of the Zinfandels that I've had experience with are more of what you're describing.
Yeah.
Definitely not of this, which to be honest with you, my palate, when I would prefer a Zinfandel, it would be more of this, but this is very different than any Zinfandel I've ever had.
Correct.
So
I agree.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. So my classification of this would be more of an old world Zinfandel.
Oh, interesting.
So one that would have been made in Europe.
Makes sense.
Italy, right, Nick? Zinfandel, Italy, right?
Yeah, there you go. Which makes perfect sense.
And more earthy, more tar, versus the California fruit bomb.
So that's a perfect comment for any of the listeners when they're looking and it says old world Zinfandel versus just Zinfandel. The taste, the profile between those two is going to be unique. Those old worlds are going to be the more earthy, bigger, right? Not fruit bomb, as we have said. So that really does, when you're looking at a menu, when you're trying to figure out if you're going to like this wine, does make a difference.
Yeah.
Great point.
A very bold move, Paula, for a risotto dish to go Zinfandel.
I like it's called R&D, research and development. I've done this 2 weeks in advance, so quite wise on my part. There'll be Rombauer on my table, just so you're aware.
And a Mulderbosch.
And a Mulderbosch, yes. And Veuve. And maybe a few other things.
All right. So this is, and Scott, you had brought this to our attention when you and I chatted a couple of days ago. This will be the first show where we actually had two of the same varietal. So this could be like, Nick, I'm somewhat expecting your Zin to be a completely different taste profile.
Maybe a fruit bomb.
If I knew this was a competition, whole different approach. I was not aware. Nick, next year, I'm just saying.
Cheat code.
And I love the name.
It's great.
Okay, do we move on from this? Are we speaking about this?
We are moving on.
What is your story?
You have to finish your thought
first. I don't actually. What is your story?
This is, and by the way, wait, What are you pouring, the Cab Franc, or are you pouring your chicken?
No, this is black chicken.
Black chicken.
You're not supposed to be looking at me.
I think we need to introduce this wine, Zandbergen. Please
No,
tell
this-
us what you're
No, I was taking
Nick, it's all you.
just so you know, I was taking the last sip of the Pinot because it is liquid gold, and I'm going to pour this into here
Why is mine always?
No,
to make room.
That's from
And I'll make room for the
All right, so we're drinking
chicken.
Robert Bialis Black Chicken. Great name.
Came up with the name Black Chicken.
Nick did.
Okay, here's the story. It's very unique.
Let's
So
set you up, Nick here.
yes, you really did. Thank you for the layup. I appreciate it. So this was it's a small family-owned winery in Napa Valley, like the Oak Knoll district of Napa. So kind of right by downtown, right? Not too far off. Now it's this small, tiny place. It's not this big, massive compound at all. And so basically Aldo and Clementina Bialis were married. Clementina is from Italy. Aldo, born and raised in Napa. So he's a Napa guy. And so they were essentially making wine for themselves. They were selling grapes. They were just doing kind of like a side hustle business. And they were trying to make some money. And they essentially, because of prohibition and they didn't have the license, they had this phone line that was a secret phone line. And when people called in, they said they needed it would have been 1937-ish.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I was going to say it was 30s, 40s.
Thank you for testing us. Thank you for testing us. We appreciate that.
This is good.
And so people would call in on this secret phone line and they would ask for a black chicken. And black chicken, meaning they wanted hooch. They wanted their wine, their special family wine from the Bialis family, which is really cool, right? They're in the 40s making this wine and they're calling it black chicken, so no one knows what they're talking about because it's just farm country in Napa at that time. There is no wineries, there is none of that, right? So really cool. Anyways, so they have a son named Robert, and in 1991 he turns it to a legitimate business, and he essentially, once his parents pass away, it's called Robert Bialis Vineyard. So that's where it comes from in 91.
Poor guy did it after his parents passed away.
Right. I know. So in 91 they established the vineyard, and they really love Zinfandel. That's what they specialize in. How I got introduced to this is through my parents. So many of you know if you've heard any of these podcasts, my parents are big winos, been winery club members, and in one of their trips to Napa,
wine lovers, Nick. Wine lovers.
Yes, wine lovers. Yes, you can say that. They found this sleepy little vineyard winery in Napa and joined the club. And so I have known them since I was young. So since Thanksgiving, we would always have Bialis, and they've been club members since the 90s. And so the black chicken is their flagship wine. It's what made them popular, made them, really famous, put them on the map. And they make all types of Zinfandel blends now. And the black chicken still is their flagship. It's the one that's most commonly seen in stores, distributed. And it's a great wine. It's a great wine for pairing. It's not what we just had in terms of big, bold, punch your face. It's much more subdued.
It's not what we just had.
I will say, Nick, this reminds me so much of my Rombauer Zin that I love. It's so
Boom.
smooth. It's just delicious. But I am glad that I brought something that people don't like. So you know.
No, Immediately.
Not to buy, right? If that is not your thing.
So
not
Nick,
that
she's
it's-
bringing your wine to her
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
Nick,
This and Ron Bauer
immediately,
will be
I took a
mine.
drink and I was like, "Oh, this is good." So it gave
Really
me
good.
appreciation.
I'm so glad I brought it here instead of buying half a case for Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
I mean, this was smart.
Exactly.
Right.
No, the difference between yours and this,
Old world.
like
new
Oh.
world.
those should have been
Old world.
switched, right? The black chicken should have been before, where it's a little more subdued, a
Agreed.
little easier to pair. Whereas yours is let's finish off with some chocolatey dessert, big old steak, you know.
I agree
Yeah.
completely.
You know, I what is it called when you typecast or prototype? I like Nick is big, bold, tannin, so his wine is
Right?
full glass. So
Yeah, I literally sent Bart the wine options I wanted to pick, and he goes, "No. Nick's a big wine guy." I'm like, "Okay, I'll
Mhm.
change
gotta
my
bring
choice.
it down.
Hold on, I'll bring something different."
I told you, Bart, you have converted me. I have lightened and mellowed.
So I will commend you.
Thank you.
Incredible story. Your intellect and understanding of this wine is very impressive.
Okay. What else you got?
I fact checked you all the way through.
Okay.
You are 100% accurate in your story of Bialis, which is
good
exceptional.
friend.
Perfect.
The fact that there is a Napa Zinfandel dating back to the 40s is pretty impressive of a small family winery. To your point, Bart, this is categorized as a new age Zinfandel, which makes perfect sense in the way that it tastes and the way that it drinks.
But at the same
Great,
time,
great selection.
this was the first in Paso Robles in general, in California in general. Zinfandel grapes were the first grapes of their kind to be planted.
Yeah, in Paso Robles.
So, yeah,
Right.
for sure.
That's
So it's important to know.
Right. Exactly right.
Yeah, this is you know, it's interesting because you look at the different wines that they do have, which predominantly is Zinfandel, and they have a number of varietals or vineyards. I don't know how they exactly
They
do.
call
You
them
know,
blocks.
blocks.
So their like flagship block is the Aldo, which is the father, right? The founding father of the vineyard or winery. That is their flagship one.
So what's the price point on an Aldo?
I love, Scott, that you asked the price point.
That's a
$100, around $100 for a bottle.
okay. Okay.
Whereas the Bialis black chicken is around, depending, 45 to 50, and you can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at Bevmo.
Bart's
Yeah, so in fairness, I mean, for a lot of people, that's important. The price.
Correct,
point.
100%.
I would say, for a $50-ish bottle of wine, all day long, this is wonderful for anybody who likes a red wine.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And easy to get. Like, it's not one of those ones you got to be on a list. You got the black chicken you can get. Any of the exclusive ones a little tougher.
I feel like the black chicken might be at my Christmas dinner, guys.
Sweet.
I have a no chicken Thanksgiving policy.
That's great. This is a nod to your Italian heritage, Paula. I have Italian roots too. So this.
Oh, you do?
I sure do.
Yes. Yes.
Are you
but
Sicilian?
I am. That's funny you asked. Yes.
Oh, you are.
Look at
Yeah.
Kindred spirits.
They're
I knew
bonding
it.
right now.
Right.
We got a bond.
I knew
No,
it.
but Clementina, the wife, right, that founded this was born in Italy.
Oh my gosh.
Aldo was born in Napa, hilariously. Aldo Bialis, the most Italian name you can find, was born in Napa, California.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Hey, Scott,
Is it a negative that I've signed up for 3 wine clubs while we've been on this podcast?
No, I feel like I'm going to be out right behind you, Scott.
the more you drink, the more you sign up.
Yeah, that's
Scott,
always a problem.
Scott, price point on yours, 80-ish?
So it's a 17 Williams-Sellium. That's a little aged. The price point is going to be around 110. So Bart, you can speak to this. It's very much comparable to that of a Costa Brown in terms of its price point and availability.
Yeah.
Your access to a Williams Cellium is certainly going to be through a wine club, registration, a wait list.
Yeah.
It's not massively produced. It's limited in quantity. If you have interest, you would definitely want to sign up for their wine club. It's definitely one of those wines, as you can speak to, Bart, where on the menu it's going to be a 3x, 4x type of a thing. It's going to be a premium.
Yeah.
One of those things that people can maybe don't understand that are listening is when you sign up for a wine club, you're not necessarily signing up to purchase anything. You're just signing up for an allocation, just getting access to be able to purchase their wines and getting a newsletter and getting information about the winery. So a lot of times if people want information and have access to wines, it's important to be able to sign up, right? You're signing up for the winery, and then you have an option to purchase wines.
And I'll drill down a little bit from that. I think there is two categories. There's wine, there's allocation, and there's club. And the club, you're going to get whatever they want to send over whatever particular period. And that's one. And some people like that, and some people don't. And the allocation is, this is what you have available for you. And then there's, if you want more, here's your wish list. And I
like the latter.
Of late, I've been doing more of the wish list as opposed to like, here's some, this is what you're getting, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
I'm sure everyone has their own experience, but for me personally, I started when I didn't know anything about wine. You guys are very much more seasoned than I am. But in the beginning, it's trying different flavors was amazing by different vineyards, being able to be exposed to different wines that they offered. But then later on, I realized I had flavors that I really liked, and I wanted to kind of stick to that. Yeah. So the second option is the one I lean to.
Again, this is Tina. Like she'd never hear this, so I have canceled. Well, actually, this part she'll like. I've canceled several wine clubs and have maintained and possibly increased some very nice wine allocation.
I mean, I think this is valuable for any listener. Couple things that Tish made the comment of, maybe I'm less sophisticated in my palate than y'all, using a Texas term. And that's fair, but the point of wine really is you drink what you enjoy and you drink what you love, and there's no wrong answer to that. And your palate will evolve, your palate will develop over time. That's the most important and funnest part of the journey. It's a very social thing, it's a personal thing, and so find what you love and take note of that. From a wine club or a wine allocation perspective, I think the advice I would give to anybody in that category is don't necessarily sign up for a wine club or a membership if it's something that you can get at any brick and mortar store.
Yeah,
good point.
Seek out those wines that are limited in quantity, limited in availability, and sign up for those. Invest, and that's the right term, I think. Invest in that, and you'll be much better off in your procurement of wine over time. We all kind of make this mistake of, we go to these wineries, we enjoy the experience, we get caught up in the social aspect of things, and there's definitely an element of that. But if the wine is available, readily available, like a Rombauer Zin at your, that's a wonderful thing. That's a convenience of, you love a wine that you can get any day of the week, any place, anywhere. Whereas a Bart is more of a person, to all of the listeners, who loves a Costa Brown, who loves some more of these sophisticated Pinot Noirs that are less available. And so in that, you have to be invested in the allocation.
Well said. We'll see.
Mic drop.
All right. Since we have gone way over, and poor Danielle has stayed so late.
Although she's happy over here, we're
yeah,
keeping her company with enjoying every
more wine.
glass
All right.
that we're enjoying.
We're going to work our way around the group, starting with you, Scott, Nick, Paula, Tish, me. Favorite holiday dessert?
What?
It's a non-wine question.
Well, what if you don't like dessert?
Huh? No, your
Okay.
favorite dessert.
Okay.
You want cheese, bread, whatever. Scott, Daniel,
why do you do that to me?
I know, right? That's not very nice. By the way, this is like 7 bottles in. Can't we just summarize?
I said at the beginning of the show, I guarantee it's going to be a curveball. It's a sloppy ending.
Sloppy ending.
Fair
point. My mother-in-law, who is an incredible person, she loves to bake. One of her favorite things is baking over the holidays with my boys, and that warms my heart. So that's part of that. The second part of that is, in particular, what she makes and bakes with the boys that I love is a apple cranberry cobbler.
Oh.
Can I have some? Can I order?
Yes,
We're coming to Texas. We're coming.
Sweetheart, I will put you on a plane. And
oh my God, he called me sweetheart.
He's definitely from Texas if he called you sweetheart.
He's all in.
No. That's where we say bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Oh my gosh, I'll take an order for sure.
You want to come to the ranch?
Yes.
Anytime you can come to the ranch, and we will show you our apple and cranberry cobbler.
Our flights are booked tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow evening.
Okay, Nick, dessert.
Cannolis.
Ooh.
He is Italian, right?
Are you kidding?
Homemade cannolis. It is an interactive experience with the family of making the shells and stuffing the shells and dressing them how you want. That is my go-to.
I bake nothing. In fact, everything I bake burns, minus my cannolis. My cannolis are delish. So yes, Nick, you and I, oh my God, we are bonded.
Not ever had your cannoli?
Next year I will bring cannolis. They're so good.
Okay.
They're not,
you know. Next year.
I'll bring them actually for New Year's. Maybe it's a surprise.
This year.
Right.
They are not calorie friendly. They are taste friendly. I'm just warning you.
We are good until December 31st.
Fantastic.
In fairness, I've been hearing about these cannolis for the last 4 years, 3 years for sure.
That's actually true because I do bring them up every year. Okay, fair enough. I will make everyone at least a few to enjoy. They are so good.
I just want one.
I know. It's my grandmother's recipe. It's delicious. Done. I will make it.
Okay. It's on the record.
We should have a side-by-side. We should do like a side-by-side.
Oh.
It's my grandmother's recipe too, so it'd be great.
Oh my God.
Okay, listen, Nick.
Everything had to
the
have
Morinello family does not lose. I'm just saying. So
you've got a very competitive Italian over here.
Right now.
If you want to have a competition, I'm happy. But
let's do it. We got the Delestios versus your family. Let's go.
Morinellos and the favelas. Oh my gosh!
I like where this is going.
Right?
Okay, Danielle.
Yeah, you're next.
All right, so mine would be one of my grandmother's recipes as well. It's called a panucci cake, and it's like a butterscotch kind of coffee frosting with a yellow cake, all homemade from scratch.
That sounds heavenly. Oh my gosh.
It's very rich. You just have like a tiny slice, but it hits the spot.
And you still at some point when Scott comes back here, an Indian feast for Scott and I.
Yes, I know.
At mom's house.
At my mom's house, or I'll bring it to the office. My mom's house.
Whichever.
Will be hectic.
We like hectic.
Either one is good.
We do like hectic, and we welcome action.
We welcome hectic.
Yeah, hectic. Like what? 2 grandkids, 2 puppies, 6 kids. Yeah.
No, you have to stop because when I see the pictures of the puppies, I can't. Kids are one thing, but the puppies I can't get over. Oh
So
my
cute.
God. You're lucky I have not showed up at your house. I'm just saying.
I know. It's like you messaged me and was like, bring him to the office. Bart messaged me, bring him to the
I
office.
did. I was like, can they please come to the office? Are you kidding me? Oh my God, these dogs are amazing.
Yeah, they're so cute.
They're like vanilla and chocolate. So cute.
Tish, you're not a dessert person, but
I'm not.
let us have it.
So Brandon's family every year makes chocolate cheesecake.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And it is actually amazing. Only each person can only have like a teeny
Tiny
little
slice.
bite because literally it is incredibly decadent.
Yeah.
But it is
Sounds
amazing.
good.
It's not overwhelming.
So let me ask you a question. This is very important. Very important.
Which kind of wine do I have with it?
No. Is it graham cracker crust?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Amazing. Perfection.
Yeah. In fact, they know that I like it, but I only have like a couple bites.
That's all you need.
They send me home with a slice that I typically throw in the freezer. And at some point in the year, I'll eat it frozen. And I feel like it's even better frozen.
Nice.
One bite at a time.
All right, Bart, Mr. Health Conscious. What
eats
is
dessert.
your
He eats dessert, you guys.
like Scott?
Not be like quinoa and kale
What sweets do you know that I like?
drizzled with
You
honey.
eat
Peanut butter
dessert.
cookies.
Yeah.
Do you like peanut butter?
Wait,
Yeah.
Danielle
Peanut
needs
butter
to
and
tell us
chocolate.
more. Danielle, what have you learned?
Yeah, whatever.
So when we did the episode with
The
Elise.
cookie
She
cookie
sent
girl.
cookies to the office and he was
That's
like, oh my
true.
God, we got to eat these.
Chocolate
and he,
peanut
like,
butter.
Yeah, he tried
Okay.
Chocolate and peanut butter together.
Every
Yeah.
event
Come
we've
on.
gone to that has a like dessert,
And I was like, wait,
you
you
eat the dessert.
cookies? What?
So don't get it twisted. Our studio engineer, who is here for every show, can tell you Bart loves cookies.
Yes.
He just has to work out more the next morning.
Danielle, what else can you tell us?
All right. So my
I won't spoil
holiday.
all the secrets.
So my holiday dessert thing is a crumble crusted, thick, crumble topped, thick crusted apple pie.
Apple pie.
Okay, homemade, or where do you buy this creation?
Whoa, hold on. Repeat that again.
Oh, geez, people,
Apple
it's not
pie
that.
with crumble crust.
Apple pie.
That's what I said.
But from where? From who?
Homemade. Marie Callender makes a pretty.
Oh, come on.
Stop
think-
it. Scott,
Marie
someone help me.
Callender?
I prefer homemade, but if I have to.
No,
Marie
we're
Callender-
going homemade.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No, you're coming to the ranch.
You were.
Come
You are
to-
coming
No, wait,
to
what
the
kind of
ranch.
apples do you like in there?
I don't care.
Really?
I don't
Huh.
care.
Okay.
It's
so-
actually,
No.
for me, it's all about
Granny
the
Smith. It has to be Granny
I
Smith.
know. It's exactly what I'm
Yes.
saying. It has to be
He
apple.
doesn't know. He doesn't
Granny
know.
Smith.
Granny
Yeah, exactly.
He is a CFP sommelier. Let's give him credit where credit is due.
That's all I know.
Sweets
Yes.
are not your expertise.
So I will tell you, if you're here in Orange County, there is a place called Lady M. Lady M originated in New York. Lady M makes the most delicious crepe cakes. So pumpkin, could be lime, could be lemon, could be cheesecake, could be whatever. Their cakes are made from 20 layers of crepes.
20.
20
Whoa,
layers
that's-
of crepes. They're
Wow.
handmade. There's a
Wow.
location in Orange County. It's the only location in Irvine, and it is delicious. If you've never had it, I'm just telling you, it's the only place I get my Thanksgiving cakes from. Heavenly.
Good to know.
Good intel.
Good to know. All right. Closing comments. Anyone? Scott, you're always good for something.
I love y'all. And I appreciate the time.
We got it, y'all.
I appreciate Lord's Juice.
Orange juice.
And till next time.
So
Till next time.
that's kind of
That's
perfect.
right.
Good. Well, this has been a great show. Thank you all for helping with your bringing great wines, your notes, and everything that you love. But we're going into the holidays, and this is a time of gratitude. And so I would like to go around. Scott, I'm not going to call on you first because you look nervous.
Scott
But-
last.
But what are we thankful for? I mean, this is the time. What are we thankful for? This is a crazy time. We've been through a lot in the last few years, and there's still a lot going on as we are in holiday season 2022. And Tish, you were my first
Oh my
person.
gosh.
I know.
All right, here we go. So thanks for making me first.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you thankful for me making you first, and you want to move on?
I am thankful for
Done.
you, Bart, for sure. You have encouraged me to grow and develop over the years and continued growth and development. I'm thankful for all of our clients and trusting in us in their entire wealth and the tireless hours and nights that we put in for them. I'm incredibly thankful for my family more than anything that allows me to do what I do and lean in to being able to be who I am authentically. And sometimes that could be crazy up hours at night and doing what I do and allowing me to be who I am. I truly mean that. Sometimes I'm all over the place, but at the end of the day, like I'm here for everyone, and I pour myself into everything that I'm doing and for everyone. So I hope at the end of the day everyone appreciates that, and I'm just thankful for all the people who support me to allow me to be crazy and hectic. And this is an amazing group of people, by the way, that's here on our podcast, and we have grown and developed over the last 5 years, and it's been amazing. We're survivors after the pandemic, and we have grown and developed and partnered, all of us, since then, and just really just feel like the sky is the limit, and this is just step one to where we are going to go. And I really feel like we just have to be thankful overall for all the things that we've been able to achieve so far and where we're going.
They're very good. Thank you. And thanks for being first.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Paula?
gosh, this is a big question. So, being very transparent, it's unique to be here for the 5th year in a row, but there's a big difference between year 4 and year 5 for me. So, I have developed a voice condition in the last 12 months that some of you know about. It's unique. But what I love about it is I'm sitting here a year later, and I remember sitting here last year, and it was challenging to be on this podcast because my voice wasn't cooperating. And so it's nice to be here today with my voice cooperating. Shout out to UCLA Medical Center for helping me kind of get through this process and navigate my new normal. And I would say to anybody who's dealing with any kind of a health condition, like, it doesn't need to define you. It's what you do about it, and it's the attitude that you choose. And that attitude that you choose will definitely direct, your life's progression. So with that being said, I'm just grateful for my clients and friends in this room. I'm grateful for everyone's support, and I'm excited about the future and whatever my lovely voice condition brings to me. So
That's amazing. Thank you. Nick, you're up.
Yeah, it's all about family for me. It's, I'm so, during this time, family is number one. I unfortunately lost my grandmother yesterday. So it's like one of those things, she was 90 years old. Like, I'm not hurting over it. She lived an unbelievable life. She was spitting fire to the end. She lived on her own all the way until the end, in her own house. Like, she's an amazing, amazing woman. So it's just be grateful for your family, your loved ones, everyone you're spending time with on a day-to-day basis, because time is short. Time is valuable. All of us want more time in our life. Heinila over here doesn't have enough time in his life. He's just going. All of us are that way, right? Not just him. So it's all about just like being in the present at that given moment. Enjoy your family, enjoy your time.
Well said.
Well said.
Well said. Heinila?
Close us out, sir.
Who goes last, you or I, Bart?
Well, there's
we've
also
got you and Danielle and
The most important hello.
right?
Exactly.
Of course.
If I may,
Just go.
let's let Danielle go.
Okay.
All right. I'm grateful for my family. I have a very close-knit family that we've been through a lot together, and we're always there to support each other. Might like call each other out on our bullshit, but no matter, like, end of the day, we're always together. And then also my boyfriend, who pushes me to grow and be better and take care of myself and do the challenging things, like need to wake up, go for a run, do those things. So I'm grateful for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Nice. You ready now, Heinila?
I'm ready. You know, as Bart knows, I'm somebody who wears kind of my emotions on my sleeve, and part of that is certainly a reflection of my upbringing and my perspective in life. You know, as a father raising two children, you know, your lens is always shaped in your reality and the paradigm that you find yourself in. And what I am thankful for in life is just my health and my wellness and the family that I do have. I would be remiss to say that my life has been not without challenges. It has not been without loss. And I would say many people's life is shaped through the lens of dealing with loss of a young one, not just a person like your grandmother who lived a wonderful life and lived life hopefully through the fullest. And you're never prepared for loss, but to be thankful for those people that are present in your life. And Melissa and I, we recognized early on that there's this book. It's not a groundbreaking book, but it really shaped our focus and perspective on where we should be investing our time and the value of relationships. And it's a book called, What Fills Your Bucket? There's many people in life who we are tied to for various reasons, who, for whatever reason, they don't necessarily fill our bucket. They create drama, they create stress, they're just in our life. And you can be very intentional in shifting that mindset of, I really, really want to be involved with people and partner with people and develop relationships with people that make a difference in my life from a positive perspective and who fill my bucket. They don't necessarily drain my bucket. And it's not nobody's perfect in this, but to really focus your effort and your energy in being really intentional and aware of not just your family, but also your friends and people you associate yourself with, and surrounding yourself with people who fill your bucket.
Very well. Well said.
Thank you, sir. And you are one of those people.
I am blessed to hear you say that. And I am unthankful that I have to follow your perfect. I mean, I think about it and I look at everybody here in this room and Scott and Nick, 10, 12, 13, 14 years of support and friendship. And Danielle, I think you were part of them.
7 years.
7 years. Paula, are we 10?
I was going to say we're close to 10.
Everything is a decade now.
Gosh, I know. I know, it's crazy. I look back at pictures and I feel like that was yesterday, but it wasn't.
It wasn't yesterday.
No.
It wasn't yesterday. I mean, Tish entered my life 5 years ago, Halloween. She doesn't remember, but I'm driving home and she and I had made some contact through a mutual attorney, center of influence. And I look at the number and I'm driving up this mountain to my house and like, there is no way this woman has called me. It's Halloween and she's got to take her kids out trick or treating. And she talked for an hour, like nonstop.
Sounds like Tish.
Yeah. You probably you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Totally remember, like yesterday.
You do not. But I remember. but you all are key people in my life, and just supported, our practice, our business. We've been through so much in 5 years. I mean, it's incredible what we've done and where we've gone, and or I should say where we've gone and what we've done. That was backwards. That's the 7 bottles of wine speaking. And then the support from Scott and Nick and Danielle, and obviously family, and all the things that I have going on with family. And my life's a little bit busy right now with a little bit of travel, but at the end of the day, I think it's, to Scott's point, it is relationships, and it's with the right people. There's way too many people in our sphere to have relationships with. So if you have that core, I think that's the most important, and you are all definitely part of my core, and I'm thankful for that. So, thank you all.
And we're grateful for you.
Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Let's cheers to that.
All right, let's cheers. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everyone who
Cheers.
have
This will
listened.
also be the longest wine episode we've ever recorded.
An hour and a half.
I'm pretty
Probably.
sure. And not that it's ended. We'll turn the mics off, but
Yeah, keep going.
I see 7 half-empty bottles here.
And it's till midnight.
All right. Thanks, everyone who have tuned in. Have a great holiday. We look forward to being back in the studio soon. Cheers.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, or review. Be sure to check us out on social media at Optimized Advisor Podcast. Till next time.